Hey there, everybody. My name is Ryan Cashman. I'm with the Education and Learning Services team here with AFCI. You're receiving this training right now because you are a speaker for the upcoming Creativation Plus event happening between March 15th to March 19th in 2021. And this video is going to help provide you with information and best practices to prepare for the upcoming event. So thank you for dedicating your time and effort to participating and ensuring the best experience possible for our attendees. So in this video, we're going to cover a few things. First, we're going to review how adults best receive and process information. Next, we're going to examine how a virtual event impacts content. And then finally, we're going to take those understandings to help you identify some steps that you can take to ensure a successful presentation, which includes best practices on engaging your audience, getting camera ready, and recording your presentation. It may seem obvious, but taking a few minutes to consider the needs and wants of your audience can set your session apart. There are 4 key factors in making a session valuable to attendees. First, make it valuable. Adults are voluntary learners. The ROI of your session matters. Be upfront about the skills and information your attendees will gain. Next, make it relevant. Clear learning outcomes, real-life applicability, examples, and/or connections to existing knowledge help define relevance for the attendee. Third, make it engaging. A typical lecture where attendees sit passively can produce cognitive overload. People will retain more information when they have opportunities to actively practice their knowledge and skills. Research shows that attention is at its highest when something unexpected, humor, an activity, a visual aid, is introduced into an activity. Finally, make it easy. Focusing on key elements and a few strategic learning outcomes is better for learning transfer and helps to avoid cognitive overload. At an in-person event, attendees are able to mostly dedicate themselves to the event and remain engaged. Distractions are limited. But in a virtual event, you are competing with a multitude of distractions, personal obligations, the challenge of shared spaces, and device distractions are all present. Additionally, many virtual attendees report that they are unable to be out of office fully for virtual events. So how can you keep your audience interested and engaged when you can't be in the room with them? Here are some simple ways to improve your presentation. First, emphasize your main takeaway per slide. Your message should be front and center. If you include graphs, zoom in on the most important data. Advance your slides every 1 to 2 minutes or incorporate text animations on click so new text graphics can appear every so often. Virtual presentations should have more slides than an in-person delivery of the same content. If there are multiple authors, consider alternating between presenters, often for a change in voice and perspective. Okay, let's talk about engagement. If you have polling or Q&A or other activities, try to incorporate them into your presentation. Practice. Have an understanding of how to use the tools, how your audience engages with those tools, and the feedback that you'll receive. Use stories to capture the attention of all types of learners, audio, visual, and anything else in between, and keep them engaged throughout the entire program. Virtual participants are more likely to remember you and the content if you provide multiple but brief examples. Since your audience won't be able to read your body language and see you as closely as usual like in an in-person event, your verbal delivery is even more important. Focus on the virtual participant. Pose thought-provoking questions participants can mull over while you're presenting. Consider prompting participants to submit questions or answers to the questions you pose via the session chat tool. Watch your virtual nomenclature. The audience doesn't need to know that your session was pre-recorded. Avoid referencing dates, times, and the recording itself. Slow your pace. It is our natural tendency to speak quickly when presenting, especially in a virtual environment. Speak slowly to allow listeners time to digest what you're saying. Check your screen resolution settings prior to beginning your recording. 1920 by 1080 is recommended. Your presentation should fill the entire screen. Turn off all non-essential software, including chat applications and email programs, before you begin. Remember, closing a window doesn't mean the program is off. Your entire screen will be captured, so mouse movements will be part of the video if you need to call attention to something. Your recording tool may also have options for highlighting content or areas on the screen. Similar to in-person presentations, keep your attire professional. Avoid wearing solid black, solid white, or neon colors near your face, because this will cut off your head and can look distorted. Make sure that any jewelry or accessories will not bump into your headset or create noise, like long earrings or bracelets, etc. And if you have long hair, tie it back or pin it in place. Many people unconsciously play with their hair when nervous. Next, lighting is important. Make sure you have plenty of lighting. Sit facing a light source like a window, desk lamp, or other light source. Optimize natural light and use soft directional lighting when possible. Avoid lighting with bare bulbs. Next, your camera should be at eye level. However, most laptops are not tall enough to support this if placed directly on your desk. So I would invest in a riser or a stack of books to kind of create more height. Finally, connect with the attendees through eye contact. If you look directly at your camera while speaking, your attendees will feel much more included in the conversation. Position the active speaker window on your screen directly under the camera so that it is natural for your eyes to be looking towards the camera. If you use dual monitors, make sure your camera and notes are on the same screen so you're not constantly looking to the side. Next, recording best practices, a more pro level. Record your presentation in a quiet room. Ideally choose a space that is smaller or has some wall decorations and furniture to cut down on any issues with echoes. Record a sample clip before you attempt your full recording so you can also listen to the quality of your voice and microphone. Most importantly, remember that your recording does not need to be perfect. If you make a small mistake, correct yourself and continue. At any time in the process, you can also delete your recording and start over. Finish strong. Leave time for Q&A. Consider the timing of Q&A. Can you answer questions throughout the presentation or save them all for the end? How will your audience submit questions? Plan to receive most questions in writing and have a moderator read them back to you. Include your contact information on your closing slide. And that's a wrap here. So thanks so much, guys, for taking the time to listen to the recording and take hold of those best practices. We'll be looking forward to your recordings, all due no later than February 19th, 2021. Again, this is Ryan Cashman, and if you have any questions for me, you can always reach me at rcashman@creativeindustries.org or in our education inbox at education@creativeindustries.org. Thanks so much, and we're looking forward to all of your awesome presentations.